I was making more than most people in a job make, but I'm the only person working in my family. Like my wife's off with the baby. She doesn't get maternity. It's just me, right? And right now,
Mhm.
3K a month is not enough to pay for a house, bills, car, all that just isn't enough, right? So it got to the point where I was bringing in 3K, which is it's all right. It's more than I was making in the military, but it just wasn't enough. And I was like, fuck this, I'm done bootstrapping life. And I was like, something inside just clicked, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna bust my bollocks for the next to the end of the year and see what we can do. And I joined Denis in, is it August? No,
By the
yeah, it's
end,
been August.
by the end of
End of
it, yeah.
August. End of August. Signed up with Denis. I think I'd already got a handful of clients through the door from stuff from there. But basically, from August till now, we've gone from like 3K a month to this month it'll be 13K collected if I don't close anymore, and it's the 5th of the month. So
What's up, guys? Dennis here, and today we are joined by Lewis Pearse. He's a member of the Alpha Acquisition Program, and he owns Omni Suite. And boy, I can't wait to jump into this one because we really got a good story today. So, Lewis, first and foremost, thanks for being here, man. And the way I like to start these is by having a bit of a backstory. So, if you could bring us up to speed to who you are, what you do with your agency, and what you did before that.
yeah, of course, man. Um, so ex-military, joined the Air Force in 2010. Did about 8 years in there. Realised that it was shite. Can I swear? Realised that it sucked, and then I went into personal training while I was still serving. Then left once I'd kind of built that up. Then I found that personal training was just as bad from a time suck perspective. So I then moved into online coaching. I took my coaching business from 0 to 500 clients in about 2.5 years. Um, then people obviously started asking me, "Oh, how did you do it?" Blah blah blah. So I then kind of accidentally transitioned into copy and marketing space, working with some of the coaches that I knew from mentorships I'd been in. That I then started helping out with their businesses, and then I kind of organically built a bit of a team as these clients were coming to me saying, "Oh, do you know anyone that can do video? Do you know anyone that can do ads? Do you know anyone that can do this and that?" And I was like, "Well, people keep asking me this. I might as well just make a solution for it, right?" So I ended up building a small team. And then that was my first bash at growing an agency. That would have been back in probably about 2020, 2021. I took it from 0 to about 10 to 15K um, over about 6 months, but I built it the completely wrong way. It was, I felt like I had to over deliver to charge the prices I was charging, um, which then meant I had a big team. I was paying a lot out. My profit margins were like, I was doing like 50 hours a week and I was getting paid like a grand a month. It was crap because that was all that was left because I was paying everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So I was so hell bent
Yeah.
on over delivering that I just kind of crippled myself right from the offset. So I ended up getting really sick, had to wind that down, sacked the whole team, sacked all the clients, and just basically went back to nothing. Right. I then got a job. I say a job. I was freelancing inside another company as a marketing manager where I was basically just doing everything: social media, email, ads, and that was good. It was I was managing an appointment setting team, and in hindsight, it was a good decision to make to wind it all down and go into that position because it taught me a lot of what I now obviously now know, which has really helped me grow this agency the right way really quickly. So I was in that space for about a year, managing the appointment setting team, managing ads, writing emails, doing content, doing all of that stuff. Um, yeah, and then I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm ready to go back and build my own thing. So I probably made that decision like middle of this year, like June. Slowly started getting a couple of clients, sort of one man band to a degree as I kind of figured out the offer, the angle, the pricing, all that sort of thing. Um, and that got clear on the mistakes that I made before that I didn't want to make again, which is basically
Mhm.
hiring too many too quickly, um, and actually doing a large amount of the work myself initially to kind of get that cash injection and keep it. And I guess I officially fired up the agency the second time round in probably like July. July, yeah, started July. I probably had about no, yeah, started in July. Didn't really do much in July. Then August came around, and I was like, right, I was sick of making no money. I'm sick of sticking it around at like 2K, 3K a month. I've got the skill set that I should be making more and should be making a bigger impact. And something kind of clicked. It got to the point where like I was making more than most people in a job make, but I'm the only person working in my family. Like my wife's off with the baby. She doesn't get maternity. It's just me, right? And right now,
Mhm.
3K a month is not enough to pay for a house, bills, car, all that just isn't enough, right? So it got to the point where I was bringing in 3K, which is it's all right. It's more than I was making in the military, but it just wasn't enough. And I was like, fuck this. I'm done bootstrapping life. And I was like, something inside just clicked, and I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to bust my bollocks for the next to the end of the year and see what we can do. And I joined Denis in was it August? No,
By the
yeah, it must
end,
have been August.
by the end of
End of
it,
August.
yeah.
End of August. Signed up with Denis. I think I'd already got a handful of clients through the door from stuff from there. But basically, from August till now, we've gone from like 3K a month to this month it'll be 13K collected if I don't close anymore, and it's the fifth of the month. So it's gone pretty well. Hopefully that's enough background for you.
No, absolutely. That's amazing. And listen, one of the things that I really admire is that, especially in this space, like a lot of people, when they have like they hit the first wall, like you did, like most people just give up. They're just like, oh, it's too hard. Like the agency space doesn't, or the agency model doesn't work. Like, how did it feel? Like, go from being on a good position and feeling like, okay, things are working with the agency, and all of a sudden seeing things like a little bit falling apart, and getting, where did you got that motivation from to like push it all together again?
Um, well, they say growing a business is like 80% mindset, 20% strategy. So I spent a long time studying Stoic philosophy, which is a big part of my life. I've got an entire tattoo sleeve that kind of symbolizes it. Spent a lot of time studying that, like not just reading the Daily Stoic like most people, but actually reading the original writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and all that sort of stuff, and really doubling down on my own personal development of mindset. I used to read loads of books. Um, Say, oh, CEO reads a book a week or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to try that. And I read, I think in 1 year, I read like 65 books in 1 year. It was ridiculous. That was in like 2021. Then 2022 was kind of similar. And then the funny thing is, since I signed up with you, I haven't read a fucking page because I had all the information I needed. Do you know what I mean? I'd done all the work, I'd consumed all the information. It was now like implementation phase. So
Yeah.
I haven't journaled, I haven't read a book. I probably should get back to that habit of journaling and all that sort of thing. But those of you that tell you, well, you need a solid morning routine. My morning routine is get kicked out of bed by my freaking 2-year-old at 5:30 in the morning. Hopefully, try and get a workout before they wake up, and then get them to school and sit at the desk. That's basically the morning routine, right? So yeah, that was all of that back work on mindset, resilience, consuming information, consuming knowledge, and then kind of giving it the time it needed to kind of settle in my head and kind of make sense. That was a big contributing factor. Was that phase? I think if I hadn't have spent all that time
Yeah.
working on myself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel that's where, especially people starting out their agencies, they sometimes they give up too early because they think it's about like the trick. It's about like finding that small thing that makes you go from zero to hero. But actually, it's like the cumulative work and resilience, and building also like a very strong mindset, as you mentioned, to keep things going, even if sometimes they don't go as planned, right? And
Mm.
so and that, and like, Lewis, what were things like inside the business, like before joining the program, before joining us, and ultimately, like, what made you even want to join the program in the first place?
Yeah, things were things were going okay. It was all organic outreach on LinkedIn. That's how I was getting clients. It was going okay. I was probably booking a call a day, sometimes two or three. So I maybe booking like 10 or so calls a week through LinkedIn outbound, which was great. But I knew at a point something needed to change. I knew I had the skill set to manage other people's ads, but I'd never really ran B2B agency ads. So I was like, I could probably figure it out, but there's probably someone out there that could just tell me what to do and what to run. And then if I figure out that missing piece, and here we go. And obviously we hopped on the call and I went, right, Dennis, let's get the ads going as quick as possible. And I think we had them going in within 5 days of me signing up, and here we are.
Love it. And like at the top, like how many appointments were like your record? Because I remember it was like a good number, like around 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, the most I've booked in one day since we started working together was 10 in a day. 10 in one
10
day.
in one single day.
Yeah. I'm booking. Yeah, that week. Let me have a look. I'll pull the numbers up now. So 10 in one day. That week that I booked 10 in a day. Must have. I booked quite a bit. It was crazy. 10 in one day. I booked 10, 20, 30 calls in a week. That week.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
calls in 1 week.
Yeah. I get messages from people saying, "Hey, if I could book you 30 calls in a month, would you be interested?" I went, "Dude, I booked 30 in a week. Leave me alone."
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. I think that's the beautiful thing. Once we have like a lot of people don't even realize it, which is like all the work that you've done like before even joining the program. Like for us was so easy to find like, okay, these are things that we need to dial in and how to properly launch them. But like it was all the compounding work that you did before even joining, like having that experience. You already had like clients and that you could rely on their testimonials as well. And this is something that takes like, it's not 1 week, it's not like 1 month, it takes like years to develop. But the thing is like, at the end of the day, hard work pays off, doesn't it?
100%. And that was something that I resisted for a long time. I was like, I want to be the doting father. I want to be there for every minute of the day that they need me. I want to live a good life and be chilled and all that sort of thing. And I was like, you know what? But there's living an easy life, and then there's living an easy life with no fucking money, which is kind of what's happening. And I was like, you know what? I owe it to my children to actually still maintain a degree of life balance so that I am still around. I'll do the things that a good father does, emotionally available and all that sort of thing. But in the end, I was like, you know what? The time of sitting around and sunbathing is done. Now let's go through a period for the next 3 years where I just bust me bollocks and set the family up for the rest of the life. And that's kind of the mission now, is it? For the next 3 years, busting my balls and building the legacy, the financial legacy for my kids. And I reckon I can do that in the next 3 years. I can get me and the family to a position where, like, my wife can't even fathom what's going on. She's like, "Fuck you! This is crazy. What you're like, the rate that you're going." She can't even believe it. I can't even believe it half the time. But yeah. But you're right, mate. The hard work does pay off, but it's the right kind of hard work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that takes time, that takes knowledge, that takes investment to kind of understand what that is. Like the guys probably inside the program see me posting stuff and they're like, "How is this guy doing? He's growing this quickly," but they obviously haven't seen the 7 years prior to that of being an entrepreneur where I was battling and wasn't growing this quickly. Do you know what I mean? This is just like, it's like the iceberg analogy, isn't it? They're all now just seeing like me at the top. Well, I'm not even at the top, but you know what I mean. They see me like this peak where things are kind of, I'm growing quicker than a lot of people, but they haven't seen like the 7 years prior that I was like drowning.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that I find exciting is like you mentioned that earlier, the first time that you built the business, like you hired too quickly, you had a lot of stuff, your margins were like very narrow. So how's now, like, since we always placed like one appointment setter in the agency, the team is still very lean. So how are the profit margins right now? Because I know that a lot of people have this like this taboo, like, is the agency model like with super high margin, or is it super slim? No one really knows. So could you like tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've just taken on a load of, not a load, but I've just taken on 3 people. So an appointment setter, a media buying assistant, and a graphic designer, and I'm literally on the brink of hiring a VA as well. So profit margins at the moment, or this month, will probably be, well, as of I guess last month, probably like, I don't know, 50% maybe profit margins. But I've had to obviously fork out to get people in to then make the next step of revenue increase, which I can't do on my own. So it's like one step back to then take four forward, or whatever the case may be. So, but once I've got this infrastructure in place with the VA, the media buyer, the graphic designer, and all that sort of thing, I'll then be able to take on more people, which then will mean that the profit margins will go back to like, will be at 75 plus, I reckon. Profit margins would be ideal, really. But yeah, so at the moment it's probably like, this month would be about 50% potentially. Although if I hit the 20k collected goal, which is the target this month, then profit margin probably will be about 75%. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's pretty much what we have on our end, on the Unfortunately agency side of things. It's pretty much like that, like 75% profit margins. That's for sure. And for everyone watching, like, what's next steps for the company? Like, what's your vision? What's the next steps for OmniSuite, and what are you planning?
Yeah. So I'm about to launch the gym owner offer, where we're coming for the likes of gym launch and that sort of thing. So we're going to stepping into that space where it's still the same offer, because right now we're working with online coaches, getting their online business firing, predictable client acquisition. So the next step is doing the same for gym owners, adding, because most gym owners only break even, right? So they need additional revenue streams to be profitable. And that's where I'm going to come in and be like, yo, why don't we launch an online coaching program and, add 5k to your bottom line in the next 3 months, sort of thing. So we're launching that. I partnered with a SaaS company who build out automate. They've got their own automation software stuff that they basically build out, all the way from literally from where I kind of finished the lead generation side of things. They literally did CRM, website, email, like 90% of fulfillment, automation, all of that stuff. So we partnered with them. So we're basically we're pitching to gym owners that will build out your entire client acquisition process, start to finish. All your marketing will be automated. 90% of your fulfillment will be automated. All you've got to do is conversations, consultations, and coach. That's it. I can then give them the option, we'll even put place an appointment setter, so that all you've got to do is sales calls and coaching. Because obviously gym owners are lacking time to do all that stuff. So we're like, cool, here's your problem. You've got no money. You're not making enough profit. So we'll come in, build it all for you. And then it'll only take a little bit more of your time, but you'll add 5k to your monthly income, which for a lot of gyms maybe even be like double, if it's a small studio space or whatever. In the next 3 months, and it's like 90% hands off. So that's the next stage is banging that out there. I've got a closer that I know who's coming in. Who's going to be taking about 15 calls a week, because I'm going to need time to fulfill all this stuff, or oversee it. So yeah, continue with the coaching offer we've got, kind of dial in. The ads are running at like £50 a day, and we're booking like 4 calls a day, like hands off. So that's still ticking over. And then obviously we've got the cold email firing next week. So that'll 500 emails a day or whatever. So I'm aiming to be booking 30 calls a week every single week, and I only take like 10 of them. The closer takes 20 of them, and then we predictably bring in like at least 20 clients. I'd like to bring in a client a day. That's the goal. Before the end of the year, I'd be bringing in a client a day, and then by the end of the year, I'd like to be doing 30k a month by the end of the year, because that's what I used to earn in a year when I was in the military. If I can do that in a month, I'm like, fuck all the haters that said I shouldn't lead the RAF.
No, I love that. No, and it's been amazing to see like how quick the whole growth process has been for you, and by dialing some of the things in. And so, and like Lewis, for everyone seeing this, and if they're on the fence, like thinking, okay, should I join Alpha Acquisition Program? Should I not? Like, what would you tell them?
To tell them to do it. You've got a great community. Denis and his team are like, I've been in agency programs before, that were way more expensive. And Denis isn't exactly cheap, right? But they were like way more expensive, and the level of support was not what it is with Denis. But the biggest thing for me is lack of time and needing someone to put stuff together for me, which is what Denis and his team have done. They filled the gaps that I needed, which is, cold email. I know how it works, but I don't have the time to build out 30 domains or whatever. Denis's team did it all for me. Wasn't 100% sure on how to run ads for my own agency. I hopped on a call with Denis. We built them out and they fucking worked. So they've come in, they've solved the problems that I had, which was, taking it to the next level with ads, cold email, all that sort of thing. And ultimately just having a soundboard was really important as well with Denis. Like I bounce ideas off him, this is the next step. Can you help me with this? And they've placed an appointment letter. They've helped me find a VA for a client. They've been exactly what I needed to kind of get to where I am at the minute and be confident moving forward that I'm not alone. Business is a lonely game, so having Denis there to kind of chat to and talk to and having the community and all that sort of stuff. Like I haven't really been through much of the course material because I'm not in the point where I need to consume more stuff. It's just about implementation and building infrastructure and stuff, which is what Denis and his team have helped me do.
Thanks so much, Lewis. And before we wrap this up, if people want to follow your agency, follow your work, if they want to get a hold of you, like what's the best place, what are the platforms that they should follow you?
Instagram is probably the best. So Lewis__Pearse with an S. That's where I do most of my stuff. I am planning on firing up YouTube properly, but got to find the time for that at the moment, which will come. But yeah, that's the best way to find me is Instagram.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure that we drop all the links below. And Lewis, thank you so much for hopping on this call. And I'm super excited to see you crushing this season ahead of us because I know you will. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Thanks.